Coming to the Tainted Tavern, come sit a while for free. We talk about our musings and devices we've been using.
And welcome to the Tainted Tavern. And today we are getting all decadent. Today we are having a double. That is a double review for you, in which I'll be reviewing another one in the Glen Marnoch budget range of whiskies that are sold in Aldi's. I recently reviewed the Highland expression. Today I'm going to be looking at the Speyside expression, and I'm also going to be reviewing a pipe tobacco for you, and that is Wilson's of Sharrow Enigma, which is best described, I suppose, in the style of an English aromatic. That is, it's slightly aromatic. It's not as gloopy as some of the American aromatics. It's not cherry or vanilla heavy, apparently. It's a fine ribbon cut, virgin on the ready rubbed. So, without further ado, let's settle back and let's have a double. Okay, firstly, let's look at the whiskey now. A previous video which I posted back last week looked at Glen Marnoch's Highland version. Today we're going to be talking, as I said, about the Glen Marnoch Speyside version, which is this baby here. For a whiskey review, we are going to do this three ways. First of all, we're going to take it completely neat in a Penderyn glass. I should have said a Glencairn glass there, because that's what shape this is. It's a Glencairn, but this one is branded Penderyn. So a little slip of the tongue there. Penderyn, incidentally, is a fantastic Welsh whiskey. They do several expressions and they're well worth checking out. But the reason that we're going to use a Glencairn glass is because of the shape of the glass. It's got this tulip bottom, and it comes up then in a chimney, which allows the aromas of the whiskies to travel towards your nose. Whiskey experts do recommend that for whiskey tasters you do use the Glencairn glass, and it's become something of an industry standard. Then once we've taken it neat, we're going to add a little bit of water just to break it up a little, and see what differences we get then from the whiskey, whether it's neat or with, as I say, with water. Then finally I'm going to take it over the rocks with a little bit of ice, and the reason I'm doing that lately in all my reviews is because over the ice, over the rocks with ice, is the way I usually drink my whiskey. So let's talk a little bit about Glen Marnoch. Now, in my previous video in which I covered the Glen Marnoch Highland version of this whiskey, this of course is the Speyside, I mentioned that Glen Marnoch is a distillery that doesn't exist. It's not real. This is a name, a branded name, that all these use for their own brand whiskey. All the supermarkets do the same. Lidl have got one, Tesco's have got one, Sainsbury's have got one, Asda have got one, and I believe Morrison's have got one and all. But here's a clip from the last video to explain how that works. What a lovely place that doesn't exist, an imaginary place. Pity it doesn't exist. It's beautiful, isn't it? The way the building with the turrets, the smoke coming out of those stems there, the lovely golden light coming out of the distillery itself where the lights are on, the little bridge running over the stream, and the stream gently meandering down alongside the distillery, the heather growing on the banks. Some of it doesn't exist. It's purely imaginary. We don't know what distillery this comes from, because Glen Marnoch is not a distillery. Glen Marnoch is the name that Aldi uses to brand its whiskey, the same as Lidl with their Ben Bracken range. So, the Glen Marnoch also comes in a lovely tube, and this cost me, I think, £17.95, I'm thinking offhand, so that's not a lot of money. And it comes in an handsome tube, so if you wanted to get a gift for a whiskey lover on a budget, then these are your babies. Now, this is a Glen Marnoch Speyside single malt. As I say, previously I reviewed the Highland single malt. There's also an Islay variety. Now, to perhaps explain the differences between each whiskey region in Scotland, Highland, Speyside and Islay, let's imagine they are books. So if they were books, then the Islay whiskey would be Moby Dick. It'd be front forward, it'd be pushing, it'd be fierce. The Highland whiskey would probably be something like Wuthering Heights. It would have its hidden depths. Where Speyside, which is much more presentable and is something of a gentleman, something of a gentle soul, would be no doubt Pride and Prejudice. But that's just a metaphor that probably doesn't work for anyone bar me. But the first thing I'd like to say, of course, is the presentation of this is absolutely superb. On the tube here, it tells us that it won the Great Taste Awards in 2024. It won an International Spirits Challenge, got a silver in that, also in 2024. And in 2023, it won the Spirits and Business Global Scotch Whisky Awards, and it got a gold in that. So, you know, we are not dealing with a crappy whiskey. Now, being that this comes from the Speyside region, we don't know what single malt this actually is, because it's branded under the oldies name of Glen Marnoch. It is marked down as a 3-year maturation. 3 years, of course, is the minimum amount of time that a whiskey can be matured in order to qualify to be a Scotch whiskey. So that's no surprise. But the educated guess for this is that it contains Glen Moray. I've also heard some people saying that they think it's Glenfarclas. I would lean, and I haven't tasted this yet, but the fact that it's a budget whiskey, the price, I would lean more towards it being Glen Moray, because Glen Moray is a budget malt in itself. Now, colour-wise, it's a nice dark amber colour, so I suspect it has had artificial colourings added, but that's not an issue with me. A lot of whiskies have colouring added to maintain that consistency. Let me get my old everyday carry Swiss Army knife out of my pocket to open this thing. So let's just cut that slightly and then peel it off. Now, if it's the same as the Highland expression, it comes with a real cork, which it does. Nice pop there. Let's pour a glass into this, pour a measure rather into this Glencairn. Yeah, that's a reasonable measure because I'm going to be taking that 3 ways, neat with water and straight. And while we allow the whiskey to settle in the glass a moment, let's talk about the tobacco I'm going to be smoking today. Now, the tobacco comes from Wilson & Sharrow, which are a well-known English blender, quite an historical tobacco blenders. I'm going to be smoking it in my falcon with a rusticated bowl and the shillelagh type style, so it's got a blue central stem running up there. Falcons are quite nice pipes. I quite like them. Of course, they come with detachable bowls, so you could have one. Just get that out of there, because when I took the bowl off, I spilled some of the tobacco. But you could buy one stem and several bowls, and in effect, you've got several pipes. I have got several different types of falcon stems. I've got the shillelagh here, I've got several bents, and I've got several bowl types as well. I've got a meerschaum falcon bowl. I've also got a carbon fibre falcon bowl. So I've got a lot of variety in falcons. I do like them. They're an inexpensive pipe, but they do provide a clear, dry smoke. What I should point out here, pop the bowl off again, but this area here is called the humidor, and it allows for a cool smoke because it traps the moisture. Now, you can use a dry ring in here. I'm not using a dry ring in this smoke, but I'm going to make one now out of a pipe cleaner just to show you how this process works. Again, get out the handy Swiss Army knife. So basically a standard pipe cleaner. You can buy ready-made dry rings, but there's no need. Just bend this pipe cleaner there, cut it with the knife. Should probably use a scissors tool for this, but this does it. So cut off a little piece, bend it like so, then you pop it in the humidor like so, and that will help to trap the moisture from your smoke, because every combustible tobacco does create some moisture. Personally, I don't use dry rings. I prefer, because sometimes they can impede the draw of the pipe, and I prefer it as it is. All I'll simply do then, once after I've finished smoking and it's cooled down, I'll remove the bowl and I'll run a tissue round inside the humidor. Falcons are so easy to maintain. So, we're doing Wilson's of Sharrow Enigma Tobacco, which is an English aromatic containing Virginia, Cavendish and Burley. and we're going to be drinking a Glen Marnoch single malt from Aldi's, which I suspect is Glen Murray, but that's not for definite. It's a secret what malts they use. But basically the way Aldi's can do this is they buy in bulk. So they buy large volumes from whichever distillery is supplying this, and they buy at the youngest allowed age statement, so 3 years of age, although Aldi's have sometimes done a Glen Marnoch in a 12 years, even a 29 years, but that's a little bit more expensive. But again, not as expensive as you'd pay for a well-known whiskey name, which was a 29-year-old, which is a fantastic age for a whiskey. So Glen Marnoch, Speyside single malt, 3-year-old, so the youngest maturation allowed for Scotch whiskey. As I say, they buy in bulk, so they can keep it at this wonderful price, and it is a wonderful price. So let's get the whiskey to the nose. So you don't get much ethanol punch from this. It's 40% ABV, obviously. Yeah, 40%. Thought it would be. So I'm getting some light fruitiness. Difficult to exactly put but it's a light fruitiness. 1 second, I've got a package coming. Well, that was unexpected. I've just had a package. I think this is a pipe which I purchased off eBay, an Ardcastle pipe, an estate pipe. But let's take the whiskey back to the nose. See, I'm getting a light fruitiness. Not so much of an ethanol burn, but then Speyside whiskies are known for being more approachable. The legs, the veracity on this whiskey, the legs are not too much to write home about, though they're there. I can see it dripping down the glass, but it seems rather thin to me. The Highland style I tried the other day, though, the legs on that were half decent. Very smooth, as was the Highland. Some cereal grain, some fruit. The finish is maybe some aniseed on the finish. Very, very nice though. It's not rough. You can taste the youth. Admittedly, the youth is there. But I drank a lot of 3-year-old whiskies. Yeah, there's cereal there. There's some aniseed on the finish, and the finish is surprisingly lingering for such a cheap whiskey. Let's add a little bit of water to this. Not much, just half a cupful, just to break it up a little bit. And while the water does its bit, interacts with the whiskey, let's open this package. It was quite a shock. I've never done an unboxing video. I do like my Swiss Army knife. Now I am suspecting this is a pipe. Judging by the size of the box, it's probably been taken apart in order to fit in the box, so the bowl removed from the stem. It's wrapped in a bit of newspaper. Yeah, it is a pipe, and it's actually complete. Now, I'm expecting I'm going to have to do a bit of work on this pipe, bit of reconditioning looking at the picture, but I got it for a good price in an auction. An Ardcastle, of course. Yes, quite a nice little Ardcastle there. 3 dots on the bottom. Marked up as made in England, Ardcastle. So, but it's going to need a good ream. It's going to need a good sanitizing. I'm going to have to polish this stem up here, but that's quite a nice little pipe, don't you think? So, in a future video you'll see me reviewing that. Okay, let's get back to the whiskey, and then we'll spark up the pipe before we take this whiskey over ice. Now the aroma coming from the coming from the glass is pretty much as it was before water was added. Again, the legs are there, you can see there's some porosity there, but it's not, it's very thin. The palate. The cereal oatiness of this, the biscuitiness, is enhanced with the addition of a little water. And actually, I may have been a bit unfair on the legs, because now they've settled. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up. The legs, they're running down there. The mouthfeel is not too thin, to be honest with you. Light fruit, cereal, definitely cereal, like a biscuity type taste. The finish is, it's sweet maybe, but it's there. Okay, I'm going to add a bit of ice to this, then we're going to light up the pipe, and we're going to allow the ice to interact with the whiskey. Now, I know that whiskey purists now are probably looking at this video and they've probably clicked off it, because they're going, ooh, but I maintain you should drink whiskey the way you want to. Do not listen to the so-called experts who say the only way to drink whiskey is neat and with a grimace. You should drink it the way you want to. If you like it neat, then all very well. If you like the addition of a little water, all very well. If you like the addition of ice, all very well. Even if you want to drink it as a mixer with soda, with Coke, with ginger beer, with coconut water, with green tea, that is fine. You should drink it the way you want to, and you shouldn't let anyone else tell you otherwise. All I'm trying to do in this review is give you some kind of indication of what you're going to get from this whiskey. Now, as I say, this is Glen Marnoch, which is a budget whiskey. Most channels review the more expensive whiskies. I do that as well, and I'm coming up with a really good, later in this week, I'll have a really good review of a single malt, and that is Balvenie. But I do cover the less expensive stuff as well, and there is nothing wrong with this. For the price, I think it's full marks. It's enjoyable. It's cereal grain that you get in. Let's add ice, and let's get the pipe going, because I do love smoking my pipe. Okay, so I've just popped a couple of cubes into the whiskey. I'm going to allow that ice to settle, because what ice does to a whiskey is it cools it down, obviously. Also, as the ice melts, it further dilutes the whiskey, so it does proof the ABV down. But I like whiskey over ice, so shoot me. Let's get this pipe going.
As I watch the sun descending,
I must remember to leave good feedback for delivery and so forth for the chap who sold me this pipe. I knew it would need some restoration work. I mean, it's an estate pipe. I don't know what age it is. Whew, I think it's had condo in it one time. But it's a lovely little pipe, isn't it? So, you know, I knew the condition that it was in, and he said it was an estate pipe. It had been heavily used in the past. But this was really quick delivery, and it's fine, to be honest with you. It just needs a good clean up, which is not difficult to do. A bit of salt and alcohol treatment, remain salt and alcohol treatment, polish up the stem, and this pipe will be as good as new. And in fact, it will probably smoke better than a brand new pipe, because it's a lovely chunk of briar. So, okay, let's get the proper light to this Enigma.
when the birds fly home to rest, in the hush when day is ending, that's the hour when I feel blessed, smoking my pipe.
As I say, this is an English aromatic. I think the aroma is quite cherry, vanilla.
Smoking my pipe. Like a whisper through the cornfield comes a gentle evening breeze, At the doorway of my cottage I recall old memories, smoking my pipe,
Smooth tobacco.
smoking my pipe. Those far-off places.
It's a type of tobacco you could smoke all day. I don't usually use a dry ring. I find Falcons have a better draw without the dry ring, and the moisture's captured in the humidor anyway, so I feel dry rings are just superfluous.
The blue, familiar faces
Very mild.
that once I knew.
Consider it's quite a lot of burley in this. It should give you a good nicotine kick. Burley's, Virginias. It's nice. It's very nice. Can't think of anything to compare it to.
I recall those days behind me and the happiness they meant. Every sundown you will find me with a heart that is content, smoking my pipe.
It's totally inoffensive.
Smoking my pipe.
No, it's not.
You remember the first time we met? You were the only one in that railway carriage who
Get
didn't
some
like
cherry
me
there.
smoking Madeira pipe.
Perhaps some
Compromise. I opened the window. What a lovely surprise you gave me on our wedding day. A tobacco jar. How I remember.
The toppings certainly haven't been overdone. It's like a light tobacco taste.
Each smile and tear as life's December is drawing near. Time's old ever-moving finger closes one more day, but yet, while such thoughts as mine can linger, I'll have nothing to regret.
Right.
Smoking my pipe. Smoking my pipe. Smoking my pipe.
A light, easygoing smoke, as I say, could be an all-day smoke. The flavors, vanilla, some cherry. Cherry and vanilla seem to me to be the most common toppings used in aromatic tobaccos. It's unassuming, it's light, there's a nice flavour to it, some cherry, some vanilla, predominantly vanilla I think. And it pairs well with a Speyside whiskey because both are light, unassuming, flavourful, but not harsh. Let's give it a sip now of the Glen Marnoch Speyside. Now that the ice has done its business, this glass is so chilled. Now that's the way I like it. Obviously some of the flavours are subdued now because of the addition of the ice. It's chilled the drink down, it's also further diluted the drink. But I'm getting that biscuity grain, some light fruit. I'm just going to pour a little more over this ice while I finish the pipe. Vanilla. Biscuit maltiness. Now it's going tidy, and it did, in all fairness, although it may not appear to at the beginning of this video, take to the flame quite well. I don't think I packed it. I think I should have packed it slightly tighter than I did, because it's a ribbon cut, of course, virgin on the ready rub. I should have packed it tighter. So I think the problems what I had initially getting the light were more my fault, because it burns really well. As you can see now, the pipe's going. There's a biscuitiness to it, like a good digestive biscuit, and vanilla, but the vanilla doesn't taste artificial at all. You can sometimes get with overly topped aromatics. The vanilla-iness can become chemically. It's not chemically. It's also the perfect companion for this light, easygoing whiskey. I'm getting biscuit on the whiskey too. So, what pipe and whiskey, tobacco and whiskey. What do I think about Glen Marnoch, Speyside? I prefer the island. That's more stringent, more earthy with taste of grass and heather, more to my style. This is fine though, it's not bad at all, and in terms of packaging and presentation it equals the island. Of course it comes in this lovely tube which is great for a present, but if you're just buying it to have a drink at home, to enjoy a whiskey of an evening, this will go in the bin. So maybe the packaging is a bit over the top, but it's certainly an attractive package, isn't it? There's the front, there's the back. The tobacco is very good. It could be an all-day smoke if this particular flavor profile finds favor with you. I prefer more latakia or heavy English style blends, so probably wouldn't be something I'd smoke too often, but it's a nice change of pace.